Hi, it's Katrina. From perfectly preserved ponies to ancient baby tiger cubs, here are 10 of the most amazing animals frozen in time. Number 10. The Yucca Mammoth. The Yucca mammoth is one of the most well-known and scientifically valuable animals that have ever been found. It was discovered in 2010 within the Siberian permafrost on the coast of the Laptev Sea in Russia. The most unusual thing about this 39,000-year-old mammoth was that it was mummified and had the most intact mammoth brain ever found, with folds and blood vessels still visible. Finding specimens like this is incredibly helpful to understanding the species. Studies of the brain showed it to be very similar to modern-day elephants, and also led to researchers to developing better ways of storing mammoths in the future when new ones are found. Along with the Yucca mammoth, a number of other ones have been found in the region, although not in as good condition, and have been highly sought after by researchers for a different purpose. Because of their relatively intact DNA and their status as an intriguing extinct animal that is very similar to some that exist today, the mammoth is a great candidate for bringing a species back from extinction using cutting-edge technology. It is believed that with a bit of luck and perseverance, we might once again see these giants alive and well, and maybe within just a few years. I would definitely love to see that. And now for number 9, but first remember to hit that subscribe button. More videos are coming soon. Number 9. A moose. It's rare enough to find an animal preserved in ice, but rarer still is the apparent freezing of two animals when they're interacting with each other. Well, this is what a couple of hikers found in Alaska in 2016. Beneath 8 inches of ice was the stunning sight of two moose fighting each other, clearly so engrossed in their tussle that they failed to notice the approaching frost. In the fall, males tend to be more aggressive towards each other, likely due to territorial disputes or to gain the attention of a female. And at some point, these two managed to get their antlers tangled. They probably drowned in the cold water before being frozen over as temperatures fell. Soon after their discovery, the moose were removed from the ice by local enthusiasts who wanted to preserve the unusual find forever. Number 8. Fish. As a fish living in water, ice can be both a blessing and a curse. It's the unique property of ice floating on top of water that helps to insulate warmth and allow fish to survive falling temperatures, but they aren't always so lucky. In 2014, a sharp, cold eastern wind sent temperatures plummeting very quickly around the island of Lovund in Norway and instantly froze parts of the ocean. Unfortunately for a large shoal of fish, thought to be attempting to escape a predator at the time, there was no chance to avoid the approaching ice, and they were frozen in place. The ice sheet was so thick that it was perfectly safe for people to walk across and capture these amazing images of thousands of fish frozen in time. This event had a major impact on the local ecosystem because birds were unable to find any food, so the skies were strangely silent until the ice finally thawed. Number 7. The Yucca Gyre Bison. Siberia is one of the coldest places on Earth that has been regularly inhabited for millennia. This makes it the perfect place to find frozen animals like the Yucca mammoth, and close by there was another discovery in 2011, the mummified remains of a steppe bison, the ancestor to the modern bison. Discovered by a tribe in the Yana Indigirka lowland, the bison was remarkably intact, with its brain and other organs almost perfectly preserved. This is the most complete steppe bison ever to be found and has allowed researchers to extensively study its brain, heart, digestive system, and blood vessels, despite it being well over 9,000 years old. With no visible signs of injury, it is thought that the lack of body fat around its abdomen is a clue as to how it died, most likely from starvation as a result of the rapidly changing environment in the area at the time. Number 6. The Salarican Pony. In 1968, gold miners digging tunnels about 30 feet below the surface of the Indigirka River in Siberia found something surprising: 2 legs and a tail of a pony sticking through the roof of one of their tunnels. Experts were called in from the Zoological Institute of St. Petersburg to help recover the full animal, which they managed to do apart from its head. The body turned out to be of a Przalski horse that nowadays is only found in Mongolia, and amazingly, this one appeared to have died about 35,000 years ago. Analysis of the remains suggested that the horses lived relatively similar then to how they still do today. The stomach was full of grass, sedge, herbs, and woody plants, and because it was full, it's believed that it died a quick death. The position it was found in perhaps provides the greatest clue as to how it met its end. With its forelegs stretched out straight and its hind legs pointing downwards, it seems as if this horse had managed to get itself trapped in a bog with no way of escaping. Number 5. The Kolyma woolly rhinoceros. There is more going on in Siberia than you thought. In 2007, the receding ice in Siberia revealed yet another amazing specimen, this time the remains of a woolly rhinoceros. They were once one of the most common large mammals to roam Eurasia, but because they lived about 39,000 years ago, it's very rare to find a preserved carcass that is of any value. This female, found about 20 feet deep in the Kolyma River, though, has taught researchers a lot of how this creature used to live. From analyzing the body, they were able to determine that the woolly rhinos were herbivores that had a diet of mainly cereals. They were about the same size as a Javan rhinoceros and had long bodies, short legs, a flattened front horn, and very thick skin and fur to help withstand the cold. They were quite heavy, about 1.5 tons, and had much shorter tails and ears than modern-day rhinos. It's now thought that the reason that the woolly rhinoceros went extinct was in part because they could not adapt to the cold when larger amounts of snow fell than usual. The combination of their weight, which pushed them deeper into the snow, as well as their short legs, meant that they would have gotten stuck in snowdrifts quite easily with no way out. This is likely what happened to the Kolyma rhino and a big factor that would have led to the species' ultimate extinction. Number 4. Tardigrade. The next animal on the list hasn't made it because of the length of time it's been frozen, but more because of the scientific importance involved with its discovery. Tardigrades, also known as water bears, are tiny water-dwelling creatures that grow to less than 1 millimeter in size and are able to exist in extreme conditions. To do this, they slow down their bodily processes or even shut them down completely for long periods of time. This makes them uniquely capable of surviving cold conditions, and in 2014 they helped researchers break a record. After collecting specimens from some moss plants in Antarctica in 1983, they were taken back to a laboratory where they were stored at -20 degrees Celsius or -4 degrees Fahrenheit. This would be enough to kill pretty much everything on Earth, but 30 years later they were defrosted and brought back to life. The first time anything has knowingly continued to live after such a long period on ice. Both an egg and a living animal were brought back, which laid a further 14 eggs that successfully hatched with no signs of deformities or abnormalities. While these creatures have evolved to withstand such harsh conditions, the fact that they were able to survive has helped scientists understand the effects that freezing temperatures have on living tissue, and will help develop techniques to prolong our own ability to cope with the cold. Number 3. Foxes. It's not just ancient species that get caught in ice, and it seems one creature quite often found frozen in time is the fox. No one's quite sure why they're so prone to becoming entombed in ice, but hardly a cold snap seems to go by without a stunning image of a fox doing the rounds. It's something that happens during unexpectedly cold weather, when animals simply get caught by the rapidly freezing waters. This year in Germany, for example, a German hunter found a fox frozen within the Danube River. Rather than leaving it be, he did what every self-respecting hunter would do, and carved the fox out of the river and displayed the giant ice cube in front of his hotel as a warning to the dangers of cold weather. Maybe it's to do with the graceful nature of these creatures, but they are by far the most common animals seen in ice, maybe because they like to pounce so much, head first. They'd probably be better off sticking to warmer climates in the future. Poor guys. Number 2. The Tumat puppy. The village of Tumat in the Sakha Republic of Russia is another place that is covered in permafrost and was the site of a rare discovery in 2015. Known as the Tumat puppy, it's thought to be a long-extinct species of dog that became frozen well over 12,000 years ago. The thing that surprised scientists the most was the almost perfect preservation of the body. The brain was near perfect, and initial tests suggested about 70 to 80% of its body was still intact. It's thought to have been related to the Tumat dog, another creature that was found nearby in 2011, and likely linked to a human settlement that overlooked the nearby river around the same time. Both sets of remains have given hope that they can inform us on the conditions at that time and types of food that were available, as well as the possibility that one day we might actually be able to bring them back to life, and we could all have prehistoric puppies of our very own. Number 1. Cave lions. And once again back to the permafrost of Siberia, this time to the Yakutia Republic. After exploring an area of thick ice, locals found an animal that people knew about only from fossils, the Eurasian cave lion. Even more remarkably, they found two of them, probably young twins, and they were some of the most perfectly preserved creatures of any type that have ever been discovered, despite being more than 30,000 years old. The cubs are thought to have died at less than a week old because their den collapsed, which explains why one of them has been crushed. This species was one of the largest lions to ever live on the planet, with a shoulder height of almost 4 feet. They would have preyed on reindeer, horses, and woolly mammoths that roamed the same area. It's not certain why this species ultimately became extinct, but the prevailing theories focus on the dwindling food supplies in the region for such large carnivores as a result of the cooling climate and the effect of humans hunting. These cubs were studied before being added to an exhibition of animals that have been found in the permafrost, allowing them to continue being frozen in time for generations to come. Thanks for watching! Would you like to see prehistoric animals brought back to life? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye!